Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado and the Western Slope, recording live from the Clear Network studio in downtown Montrose, Colorado. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of WKRP. I'm just gonna
Montrose.
I'll say whatever I want to say.
A lawsuit.
I'm thinking about changing it to WKRP Radio.
You know you don't have the power to do that.
I think I can if I want to.
What were you going to say? Come on.
I'm going to do the next thing. That you're saying that we can't do. You guys have said enough of this back and forth and just go straight to the guest. No, I'm doing that.
No.
What do you mean no?
I don't care what they think.
You may not care what they think, but we've got viewership. Like, I would like to see the viewership continue to grow.
They are full of it. They continue to watch. They make idle threats. We're doing it our way. If you don't want to watch, don't watch.
Rob,
I'm okay with
that seems like the worst threat ever to make to somebody. It's an idle threat. You won't stop watching.
Definitely. Because if you're watching this, you haven't stopped by definition.
So watch this. We have Homestead and Gary Peebles. Did I get the name right?
Probably not.
I did.
You didn't, because you're pronouncing it
Peebles. Peebles. I said Peebles. Peebles.
People. Yeah.
Gary Peebles.
Right.
Gary, welcome to WKRP and the really nice couch. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. I'm sorry for
That's all right.
I was on a roll.
That was a lot better than how it gets announced most times.
Sometimes,
Good,
yeah. Well, the thing is, I was on a roll for like several weeks with guests that had very difficult names.
That's not true.
And it's totally true.
They were not difficult.
They were
For
difficult.
You, they were difficult.
Well, it doesn't matter who else besides the person that's saying it. Anyway, the point is, I had been on a roll, and now I have fumbled the ball the last 2 or 3 times that we've had guests. And
so you need to go back to Joneses and Smiths.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I think we need a booking agent that books people with more simple.
You messing it up is my preference. You know that, of course.
Right. I know you like making sure that everybody else feels like that I'm Pinky in the Pinky in the Brain situation. That I'm just narfing it everywhere I go.
Day. What are we doing today, Brain?
Yeah. What are we doing today, Brain? Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. Seeing as you made that executive decision to go,
I did. Look what happened.
We're not doing that again.
Hey, listen, you guys did it. That's what happens. You leave the comments. You say what you want. I'm here. I'm the button pusher. So I get to make that decision.
I don't want to hear from you.
Okay. The reason that you're on the Wheelie Nice couch is you've bought a business here in Montrose that I would dare say is beloved, a beloved name.
Let's just take a step back for a second.
Why?
So, Gary, are you the owner of Homestead?
Yes, one of them. And president.
So can you just give us a brief overview of what Homestead Meats is for those people that don't know? Because I like the story.
Yeah. In 96, 6 individuals came together with an idea of they all were long-time ranchers in the Delta County, North Fork area, Hotchkiss, Paonia. They came together and wanted to kind of avoid the middle person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would sell their calves, and then, JBS or whoever the big boys would then take it over. And they really wanted to focus their efforts into being able to sell direct.
Right.
Sell to their neighbors, sell, And so we started out just doing farmers markets, Aspen, Glenwood, Ridgeway, different places. And we were just selling directly out of our trailers and everything else. And as the world kept going and we started to grow, we needed then a way to process. Right. And so we bought our very first plant in Cedar Edge at Cedar Edge Meats. They were wanting to retire, and we quickly outgrew that and then moved to Delta and opened that plant.
And when was that? When did the plant open in Delta?
I think it was 2006.
Okay.
Is when we bought that one.
So when you say going direct to the customer, and you mentioned JBS, first and foremost, fill somebody in that doesn't know. What's JBS?
JBS is probably one of the largest beef packing plants in the whole United States.
Okay, and where are their facilities typically at?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Kind of like Polson.
Okay.
Tyson,
but when you say everywhere, not Delta, not Montrose, Greeley, okay.
Nebraska,
all right,
everywhere else.
So meat, animals would get it moved around and processed, and it wasn't necessarily staying local then.
No, and it wasn't, direct. There was no intention or quality control to make sure that
Right.
what you're passing on to your neighbors and
Right.
your fellow individuals that live in your county, that it is all natural. That we know how it's taken care of from the time it's born, clear to the time it goes on their plate.
And I assume those bigger processors take a sizable cut.
Oh yeah.
So the actual price you get going through those guys was less.
Yeah. I always kind of look at it like a JBS or a Tyson or any of those. They're a lot like your fuel and your gas companies.
Right.
As soon as they want prices to go up, they just go out and turn down the valve.
Right.
Also,
reduce the production,
Right.
And
create more of a demand.
And it creates a false demand because they're we're not producing as much.
Right.
So anyway, just to have more control of it.
Yeah. So well, let me get back to before we get right back to the story, because I feel like I cut you off a little bit, and there's more to tell there. But how does somebody let's look at the competition you have. First and foremost is just the market, the grocery stores, right? And where people typically think, especially new transplants that would come in from other areas, like that's where I go to get my meat. Second thing is the people that have been here a long time. There's quite a few hunters in this area.
Correct.
And they pack their freezers.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys make that decision to grow into an area and be like that second or third option or fourth option? How do you see yourself kind of like moving? What efforts do you guys take? How do you explain like, no, you want to get it from us type of thing? Because you said we know it from the time it's born to the time it's on your plate.
Full control.
Right.
Yeah.
But how does that connect with just the average consumer or person that's out there?
It's actually even further, because probably 70% of our business is just for the rest of the community here, ag businesses that are selling at the farmer's market over here on the street in Montrose, or are selling their pigs, at farmers markets and ridgeways, or selling to their neighbor, or they raise their own beef or animals at their house, want to be able to give it to their kids. And so we do probably 70% of our business is custom processing. So all we do is we take your guys' animals in, or local ranchers that are feeding their neighbors, they're feeding their friends and their family. So a lot of our business is not just selling our own beef.
Right.
It's a service that we also provide, same as what we're doing with wild game. We're hunters out there. They harvest a bull or a deer. They bring it in. We cut it to the way they want, specify it, and get it back to them.
And that's a big part of the business.
So
the majority of the business.
Yeah. And then the rest of it is our own animals that we're processing to sell direct.
All right. So back to your story.
Okay.
It started with a group of individuals in Delta that saw this as an opportunity, or at least wanted to control their own destiny. How does that then extend to a namesake farm and ranch that was here that had created its own processing plant in Montrose, or had been processing for other, that exact situation that you're talking about, processing for other families and other ranches in town, things like that.
Kinnikin was basically the exact same business that we are.
Right.
They had a little retail store. We had a retail store. So both businesses were very similar in the reason they were started and how they conducted business, with the pride being with the local community, taking care of them.
But then, so when Kinnikin first started, just so I'm clear and everyone else is, Kinnikin was started by an individual, right?
By Prox.
Right. But then at what point, Kinnikin was purchased by Compass Capital.
Correct.
Right? Which sounds strange to even say, but it sounds like that's some kind of venture capital company or whatever. And they were not based here.
Yeah, they were in Kansas City.
So you have this local business, Kinnikin, that was purchased by Compass Capital. Now, everyone in town, I think, a lot of people who know Kinnikin and have been to their little retail store like it, but nobody knew that it was owned by an out-of-state entity. So, I mean, I guess, without trying to degrade them too much, but why is it not a good idea for a business like that to be owned by a company out-of-state?
As long as they move into a community and adapt to them and actually support the community and put their dollars back here.
Right.
I think that's great. But anytime you have an entity that steps in that, one might not have any understanding of the business,
Right.
or how to run it, or, just the day to day part of it,
Right.
they try to rely on hiring and bringing outside people in to run it.
Right.
And just, losing that true understanding of truly how that business needs to function,
Right.
or what is possible and what isn't.
Right.
What do you feel like is somebody that, I'm somebody that starts other businesses as well, and oftentimes they have to be operated outside of Montrose. Just not enough physical bodies to make a business necessarily work. And I know what my struggles are with trying to manage people from abroad. Why do you think in this particular business it's so important to have that local operation, or at least feet on the ground here, to make sure that that's successful?
Yeah, I think, in any business, I think you can have people that are somewhere else that are managed properly, and you can carry out that business. But this particular scenario is there's so much. Western Colorado does not have just trained meat cutters that are everywhere over here.
Right.
Not very many kids grow up and say, I'm going to be a meat cutter when I grow up.
Right. Yeah.
And so when you have a local, labor pool, so much of it is cross training and bringing them in and actually teaching them the business.
Right.
And with doing that, you have to have the right people that are there and can get them trained so that, you can keep your production up. And biggest thing is quality control.
Yep.
So
What does that look like in a community where I think we need to embrace a skills based business trades?
I agree.
What does that look like for you trying to look forward to the next generation of people? So like you said, is it a scenario where it's like, hey, there's not a pool of people to pull from that actually know the skill, so we have to train it? How do you guys go about looking for somebody um, to be able to pull into the business or recruit, so to speak?
There's two sides of that. Having grown up here and been very active in 4-H, FFA, and so what we really try to do is we embrace those youth entities.
Right.
Olathe's FFA judging team, actually, every practice they come to our plant. We walk them through there. We're helping educate them and helping their coaches, learn how to grade beef and quality control and things like that. We probably have every FFA chapter in this whole part of the state. They're in and out of our plants at least once or twice a year. And so it's two sides. It's try to teach our youth that the meat doesn't just come from the back of the supermarket.
Right.
There is a process. And then the other side of it is it can be done humanely and correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to walk them through it to show them truly where their meat comes from.
Right.
And so much of it's on the training side. So,
but it's a huge investment, right? In time.
Time, yeah.
You can't just put an ad out on Indeed, right, and have somebody come in qualified.
Exactly.
I know that other businesses in this area have a tough time even recruiting people who are competent from other parts of the state. People moving from Denver to this area, it's very, very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, you're putting in like years of groundwork into dealing with. How young are some of the kids in 4-H?
9 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a significant investment.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
but you're also competing against the idea of everything that they see, on their phone.
Yeah.
And I feel like, that's one of the things that we hear a lot in Montrose is there's not a skilled labor force, or, new businesses that are trying to develop themselves here struggle with keeping a labor force,
mm-hmm.
That's qualified and can do the work on here. So when I ask, like, how do you guys, how do you recruit? How do you entice people? Let's say you've got an 18-year-old that's now been in 4-H for 3, 5, 10 years or whatever. And they're at that point where they've got to start making the decision of what's next. Some of this work is not easy work.
Right.
You don't get to have soft hands necessarily to do it, and it can be tiring as well. How do you how do you work against the glamorization of the stuff that they see on their phone to help them understand this is a real career and a path to be able to do this type of thing.
Yeah, and take that another step. One of our employees for 30 years is still there. When we purchased Cedar Edge, he's still with us.
Yeah.
So the key to those kids that you're trying to bring in, give them that, is still let them see those employees that have been there for 30 years.
Right.
That are training them and that are still there, that, when they ask them questions, they're like, this is a family.
Yeah.
It's a family-based business.
Yeah.
You'll see every owner walk through there. So you're right. It's not glamorous. But then as they talk to those older employees that have been there for a while, there's a little reassurance there that this isn't a fly-by-night.
Yeah.
But it's real. It's real. It's tangible. It's something that they can see and touch.
The other thing is, I think they take pride in is when they do see and get feedback from our customers that are like, man, you guys did a great job, or see that product going out.
Yeah.
Or probably the biggest thing is when they can go to the retail store, they can walk in over here and see that product in the case, and it looks just as good as it does at City Market, and in some cases a lot better, or Safeway or anywhere else, that they see, they take pride in it.
Right.
Because it's right there.
And to be honest, I've seen, this is probably a testament to my social media usage, but there are butchers and meat cutters, as you call them, on social media. There's plenty. There's something really satisfying actually about watching those videos where people are processing, butchers are processing meat. So, that's not to say that this kind of career it can't bleed into other areas, but it, like Dennis said, it is tough, but you clearly, if you're having employees that have been there for 30 years,
doing something right.
You're doing something right. Yeah,
you're taking care of people as well. If
people don't stay in jobs for that long unless you're doing something right. So, well, let's talk briefly about the investment in time to like actual financial investment. So Homestead purchased Kinnikin. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Because Kinnikin is obviously the kind of Montrose component of this. So
correct. As far as the purchase actually went,
why, I guess, is the question.
They had talked to us, probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Inquiring about management and some other things. And at that point, it did not make sense as far as any sort of a merger or, an acquisition that we were interested in. And then kind of out of the blue, we got questioned if we were interested in stepping in and purchasing it. Due to some scenarios that knowing that the city of Montrose would like that facility out of town.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't make any sense for us to purchase the real estate.
Right.
And I'm not saying that city of Montrose was, strong arm or do anything, but for that location to be moved out, you're talking $5 to $10 million in building costs to put back
to relocate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if we were going to keep it here. So as the negotiations and the discussions kind of went about, it turned in just to a equipment and asset purchase.
Right.
And not specifically, there was a Montrose Times business article that said not the name.
And not the name.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you have a long established name that wouldn't necessarily make sense, but
correct.
But so purchasing Kinnikin, was Compass Capital, were they ready to they wanted out?
Yes.
So no matter what happened, Kinnikin was not staying as was.
They were done.
What might have happened if you hadn't purchased it?
Well, some of the employees, their joker on there was who was going to show up on a Saturday with the doors
closed, locked. Yeah.
Right.
Which happens, unfortunately.
And they have enough money. They could just step out of a business that they.
Well, they could sell. Again, I guess you could just sell the assets, and you can ship equipment anyway.
Correct.
So they could have easily done that.
And that location has value, and they can sell the building and do whatever they want to.
Right.
So it was a scenario where we were able to step in, retain some of the employees.
Yeah.
And I worked for 16 years for Montrose Bank. That was next door. I had the bank in Hotchkiss. And, I always loved this community. we had talked about it, kind of made sense for us to have a retail store here in Montrose for years. So it allowed us to actually just continue to grow Homestead and actually get a presence down here, because we have a ton of customers that drive to Delta now and shop in our retail.
Yeah.
So we had always been looking to get into this community anyway. So, it kind of assisted with that and moved us forward on that.
What is the situation as of today, though? Kinnikin in Montrose is closed, or it's still operating?
We're still operating. We'll operate it through the end of the year.
Okay.
We're currently doing all the wild game that they had done in the past.
Okay.
We are still doing what we call on our end exotics, but that's buffalo and elk for local ranchers that sell that meat direct.
Right.
So yeah, we're still in production there at that facility.
But just to be, by the end of the year, you will be the facility will be closed because you didn't buy the
we did
building.
Not. No.
And I'm sure people can understand that there is it's business. You can't keep a place up. Well, first of all, you don't own the property, but
correct.
You can't necessarily keep a place open just because of, say, sentimentality. But
is there plans to have some operation here, or is it going to move like
us?
Yes,
or
Homestead.
Yeah. We're currently looking at trying to relocate a retail store and find a different location here in Montrose.
Okay.
No, we're not. We want to maintain a presence here.
Well, because I think it would make sense in terms of just a retail location. We have a lot of people here. People from Telluride come down just to buy their groceries and gas and then go back up that hill. But if you had a retail location here where you could buy, very high quality, local, regional sourced products, I think that would make sense given that we're such a big market. Ridgeway, Uray, all coming from that other direction. So,
it's a perfect fit.
I hope that you find somewhere sooner rather than later. What are you smiling at?
I'm just laughing at the fact that you're kind of, playing down the idea that Telluride people come down to buy things here.
Come down for.
Well, hey, listen, I'm all about the people that want to come down here and buy things from us. That's great.
It's an important part of our business around here, and our economy.
And go back home.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, they're probably all right with that too.
Stay over there. We have nice hotels. You can come and stay for them.
There's a lot of Telluride presence coming down here every day.
I feel like we're the unofficial Chamber of Commerce.
Don't say that. Don't give us responsibilities we don't need and don't want it. Well, let's go back for a second. And you press up. You gave the story of the idea that you were not always in this business. So you were in the banking trade for a while.
Yeah, I was a banker.
So how did you? Were you born in this area? How did you come to this area? Yeah, we've got a resident fly.
I got your fly now.
Yeah. So here's the deal. You're not under the same rules I am. No. If you can swat that thing, go for it. Because
I call that fly Dennis Jr. because he's really annoying.
He is irritating as all get up.
Face all the time.
Sorry, we're going to come right back to this. You don't realize that Rob will not let me kill the fly in the studio. It's got to be captured and then released into the wild.
I don't think that's such a terrible thing.
Well, as for your guest sitting here who is in that business, I thought it was a rough way to start out this interview.
Right.
To be clear, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, and I do very much enjoy locally reared, raised, and processed meats. Just saying, Gary.
Does make me feel a bit.
You partake in the flesh.
Whatever happens to that fly is between you and.
I know you're going to say karma. All right. Well, let's now that he's Dennis Jr. somewhere flying around different area of the room. How did you? Were you born here? You a native of Colorado?
Born. Yeah, I was. Grew up in Hotchkiss.
Okay.
My wife's family homesteaded here in the late 1800s, early 19s.
Oh wow.
The ranches, actually, 5 of those ranches have all been here for over 100 years, and of the other owners.
Yeah.
And so, all the other owners are the same way, all local, and Colorado ranches that are here and have been in business, and their kids are part of it, and generations are, continuing in the business.
So it truly is. It truly is a Western Slope thing. It's family orientated.
Yeah.
That's good. In this day and age where very often. You've only got to go to the south end of Montrose to see just chain restaurants and chain stores. It's nice to have local businesses run by people who know the area and know the people. I think it's very important. Otherwise, you lose the soul of a place. I think.
Well, I've always said I think that change is inevitable. So either you participate in the change or you let somebody else do it for you. And so if like that's where I think small businesses and local businesses, come in to play here.
Yeah.
Is either you're going to affect the change, you're going to be a part of whatever that is, and you're going to make the decisions on what you want to see happen in your community, or somebody else will come in and do it for you.
Yeah.
Correct. If there's a missing element.
They'll figure it out, and then you'll have to deal with how they want to do it versus how you want to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time that you left the area and then came back, or is it just you've been here since the beginning and this is where you're at and this is where you're staying and the family's 100-year-old ranches? Like,
yeah, no, I graduated from Hotchkiss, went to Western, played football at Western. One of the other partners that is part of Homestead, he was our linebacker at Western too. And then I came home, married a gal that lived 10 miles from me in Crawford.
Okay.
And yeah, we raised all 3 boys, and I've never left. So
yeah.
Well,
about as local.
How do they play football in Western? This is what I don't understand. Like, I know this is going to take us off topic for a second, but it's cold out there in the winter. I don't even understand how you play home games in Western.
It's awesome.
Was it all? Is it?
It's
awesome.
Dennis is a big baby.
I mean,
He's from the south.
Here's what had happened. You teams would show up from like Kansas or Nebraska or wherever.
Right.
I mean, they're having to bus them from the locker rooms up to the stadium because they were out of breath by the time they got there.
That's the altitude.
Then we'd be on our side, and we wouldn't even put undershirts on or anything. And
how many points is that worth?
Toughness.
Is that worth?
Yeah, how many? That's a touchdown a game at least. Yeah,
at least.
It's no joke, man. It's like here's the thing. Once the temperature gets to a certain point, you don't want to get hit. Like if even if you're somebody that doesn't mind getting hit, as soon as it gets like I would say below 30, when you get into the 20s and you have to like run into somebody, there's a certain sting that stays with you long after the hit.
Well, I mean, imagine even when you're really cold, right? If you flick somebody's ear.
Oh yeah,
hurts.
yeah.
Now just imagine like a 200-pound guy just slamming into you. I've been hit by in the
200-pound guy. What are you talking about? A wide receiver?
Well, I don't know. It's the same when you get hit by
Oh, that's right. You're a footballer. That's right.
Hit by a ball in the middle of winter. That stings a lot.
Yeah.
Ironically, though, we complain about the cold, like in Gunnison, but you go back east, like Iowa and place Chicago.
Right.
I mean, we really don't truly know what cold is.
Well, that's because you say Chicago, the wind coming off the water, the dampness is what
our snow comes straight down. I mean, we don't. Yeah.
Well, even in Montrose especially, that's part of the reason I love it here. Winter is mild here. It looks beautiful. We got snow all around. We don't really get much of a crazy winter here. We don't have much snow particularly. It's very easy to deal with, I think.
All right. I've always wanted to ask somebody, since you've been here forever, what is it always like it's part of what I like here. I'm one of the people that moved down from Telluride. So, and one of the things I loved about moving down here from Telluride is the snow is very minimal. Let's put it that way. But the reason why is you can watch it happen. It comes over the mountain, and if it comes from that direction and then just splits and goes around. Like, I know that is it always been that way? I mean, it has to have been, because that's why the Ute tribes settled in this area, was because they didn't have to travel much. They didn't have to move back and forth because of the weather.
Yeah, the ranch I grew up was right there above the Hotchkiss High School. And as that storm would be coming towards you, you could watch it go up the river towards Paonia or go along the Black Canyon.
Right.
And it's always.
So how do you guys, how do you move cattle based on that? Like, is there like, is it, because that's got to be part of what you have to teach these young people as well, is like, you got to move them around to where the food is, or is these days do you just bring the food to the cattle?
Well, during the winter, obviously they're home on pasture, and you do feed them during the winter. But during the summer, and even if they're on pasture, there you do rotational grazing. Right. So you do move them. Even our pool allotments where we get a run on the Forest Service, they allow us to move them from pasture to pasture to utilize that ground in a rotational grazing. The next year you'll go the other way. That way you can, manage public lands and our own places.
Right.
And that's probably a bigger we're the caretakers today, but we want to make sure that it's still there
Right.
when our kids are.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Is generation and everything else.
Are those opportunities shrinking, or like, because there's a lot of development out here? There's a lot of land that used to be, grazing land and farmland that's now becoming residential land. Like, are those opportunities shrinking? How does that affect you guys' business?
It's probably the hardest part of it because, for example, if you did want to get into this business, to try to put together a place, equipment, the costs of that stuff is just it's very hard to justify not having a house out there and maintaining open space and ranching it or keeping that open space there. Just there's too much value.
Have you ever had to have conversations with people who have thought about just selling up and selling the land? Is that, I mean, it's not, if you're a rancher and you have been for generations, your family, but I guess that's very rarely something that happens. But are there ever times when, ranchers or, smallholders, whatever, have thought, I can't do this anymore and I need to sell up and I'll sell it to a developer?
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
What you see right now in ranching and ag, the largest landowner is actually widowed women that are over the age of about 70 plus.
Right.
And so, unless they have a child that wants to do the work, because, it's not glamorous, it's not easy. You take a lot of pride in it. There's nothing better to actually, see what you create, and what you're able to do. But it's not easy. And for all of our children, to get them to come back to the ranch, when they have other opportunities all over. And you lose a lot of that next generation.
I feel like we do a very poor job in this country that other countries seem to do much better job of creating the accolade of feeding your community. Like, meaning if you were to go, and you're going to know this better than me, and you're going to say I'm going to butcher it, but if you were in European countries, like, there used to be, or still kind of is, like, if you're the baker in the town, like, you're feeding the town, and there was pride, and there was a like an accolade that the community gave you for being that. I don't think because we go to City Market, because we go to the grocery stores, we don't look at it the same way anymore. And so how do we, like, I guess the question for me is, how do we use social media and use some of these things to start bringing that aspiration and like pride back, so that we do have more of that? Because I think people don't understand processing and storing and what that does to the meat and the quality of vitamins and everything that's in it long term, versus being able to get it sooner in the process and being able to get it local and being able to make sure that it's not mass bred, if you will. I know that you still have to make a business out of it and everything, but I think there's a ton that people don't understand anymore.
Well, I think it was really obvious during COVID.
Yeah.
Because, your grocery shopping is, you want to just show up, go to the case, it's there. You're not focused on, everything that's behind it. It's supposed to be in that back case.
Right.
It's supposed to be here. And I think during the COVID scenario, when all of a sudden they showed up and they walked in the grocery store and there wasn't anything there, and then they're hearing about, supply chains and delivery and all of the issues that came into that, I actually saw during that time that people actually became more aware of, wait a second, where does this come from?
Right.
And that, during that time, I think that focus kind of came back. Now it's our job to keep it in front of people.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I remember during COVID, very specific, there was very much a trend on social media of making sourdough, right? Everyone was trying to make sourdough bread, but that kind of speaks to the same thing, really, with people realizing that if the system breaks down, you don't have anything, because these things are coming from all over the place. And, we can make our own bread and grow our own vegetables and stuff. I mean, people don't necessarily raise their own meat, but people have chickens and things like that. So I guess people did start, like you said, have that idea of, where is this coming from? Can I make it? Or is there a local place that I can buy stuff from? Because City Market presumably get their stuff from, I don't know, everywhere. So people did ask those questions. But since that was, a little while ago now, do you feel like that is people are still inquisitive about that, or did most people just kind of quickly slip back into?
I think
they
there was one element of that group, that are very health conscious.
Yeah.
They want to know what's in it,
Yeah.
how it was fed, things like that.
Yeah.
I think they're still very engaged in that, wanting to know. But to take that further, I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful parts of the country anyway. I mean, we have orchards. We have, I mean, this area is perfect for the people to actually do what you're talking about, whether it's chickens in their backyard, no one who owns the orchards, around here, or knowing where to get this. There's tons of area or of ranches and farms in this area that, they can be a part of. And buy direct.
Yeah, right.
That's a fascinating. Well,
I did that recently. I went to buy some Olathe sweet corn. I just went straight to the factory, the processor, picked up a whole box, and it was crazy cheap and super fresh. I mean, it's definitely something we can do with everything else too. I mean, I remember a few years ago speaking to Maddox Orchards about, you can just call these people. You can just call them and go and buy stuff if you want to. For the most part, they're okay with that.
Can you give me an example of just like, I think if we romanticized going back in a time, like you go to talk to your butcher, right? A butcher and I'll say it so that you don't have to. A butcher at City Market is how far removed from the process of the meat that they're working with when it gets to them, as opposed to the people that are processing the meat that's at Homestead.
Well, first of all, I don't want to diminish what those individuals.
No, that's what I was saying. It's not the butcher. It's not the butcher's fault that's at the market. It's the company that's behind it.
Yeah, right. And there's great people that obviously work for those places. But the difference is when a individual in those type of facilities get it, it comes already cut,
right,
or is in like a 2-piece type deal. So they can then cut one piece of roast looking chunk into the steaks or the roast that they're trying to make. Right. The problem is they don't know the process it takes to break down the whole animal from the time it's hanging there to break it clear down to the point that it is a certain steak. It is their tenderloin. It is their ribeye. It's a chuck eye. It's and so what the part of the training and the element that they don't know is that full breakdown from start to finish.
Because they're employed and they're told, okay, day one, we get it in like this. So
every box,
your job
comes
is to
in
just
that
do
way.
this, and this, and you put it in the case. Yeah, like you said, not to diminish what those guys do. That's just the job. That's how these big operations, how they operate.
But I was also saying, like, if you were to ask them, like, how long this has been in transit, or where was this moved from, or where, that butcher's not going to know.
It's not their job,
but they're
to know, right?
Well, not for the way the setup is, right? But so one of the benefits is, if I were to walk into Homestead, or if I were to call, I would imagine they're a lot more connected to where that meat came from, how long it's been, clear, the cycle or whatnot.
Clear down to who produced it and where it came from. Exactly. The other thing that most box meat is actually not aged. It's shipped on a truck, and they actually age it during transportation.
Right.
So we do dry age all of our beef.
Yeah.
And
I was just thinking of how nicely he said that for somebody else. They age it during the transportation process. It's not exactly the same thing.
No, that's quite diplomatic, I would say.
It was. That's what made me laugh.
You can tell by the color too, right?
Yeah.
Often, like, sometimes you see cuts of meat, they're almost bright pink or glowing.
Well, it's because of the gases and everything else they add to it.
To make it look red, to make it look pink.
Yeah.
But which I know a lot of people don't know. So let me ask you this: in an age where we are right now, where let's just talk economics for a split second. Because you were talking about chickens and eggs and everything, and that's an easy one, right? Everybody's upset about the price of eggs.
But which one comes first? I'm just kidding. Go on.
How much of an impact can somebody make? Because I was just thinking, like, we buy our eggs from people that sell the eggs that have, they have their small little farms, and then they put the honor system. I don't know if everybody knows this. There's several farms out here that supply eggs. They put a little fridge out It's an honor system. You drop the money there. You take the eggs.
This is why you keep telling me you get free eggs all the time.
I don't.
Is that? That's where you get
Don't
free eggs
don't
from?
don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
Oops, I didn't mean to
Don't do that.
drop you in it. Go on, carry on.
So, how much can we affect small businesses versus like coming direct to you versus, because it doesn't work the opposite direction, right? Like the, the the more demand that there is from the other side, it seems like the prices go up.
Right.
How does that work when I'm working with somebody that's local? Like, I understand that typically my cut of meat that I'm coming to buy from you is going to be more expensive than what I buy in the grocery store.
Correct.
And so I'm okay with that because I know where it's,
Right.
I have an idea of where it's coming from. I'm trusting where it's coming from.
Yeah.
I'm trusting how it's handled. But if there was more demand for you, are you affected in the same way?
No, I mean, we definitely are. As far as obviously we want local businesses, we want local consumers to buy from us. That way the dollars do stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest effect. But, it also allows, as you create a business and grow it, like, you're creating more jobs for local individuals too.
Right.
So no, anytime I think we as consumers can support local, it's the best thing that can happen for us.
Yeah. I
don't know if that's a story or that was the question.
Well,
you
it's
were
it's
bringing.
To be
it's
honest,
in part.
there wasn't really a question in there.
I kind of thought the same thing, but
No, there was the question was like, if
you were rambling a bit.
let me say it a different way. What would be if you were to? We typically ask a lot of people that come on here that have a business, like, what can we do to help you, grow and do more? But
we as a community, what can the community do to help?
But if there was a rush on buying meat from Homestead, what would that do to your business?
As far as
And is that the part of the business that you want to see like a rush on?
Yeah, we want that portion of our business to grow.
Okay.
We 3 years ago we purchased Callaway's packing facility there in Delta, right behind us.
Yeah.
When we remodeled it, because we had to, rebuild the whole inside. There was no rails or anything else, and update it. That actually increased our capacity that we could do at that time.
Right.
So, really, we want to be able to take care of that custom part of our business.
That's my bad.
Sorry.
But we want to maintain that we're still taking care of the other ranchers that are in the area. But no, definitely the part of our business we want to grow is that direct.
Yeah.
Of our own beef.
Right. I have a question that's I might put you in between a rock and a hard place, right? But the thing is, it seems obvious that Homestead versus, say, the big supermarket chains, Kroger, whatever, it's a case of quality over quantity, right? You produce what I'm sure you would say is, much better quality. As a result, it is going to be slightly more expensive. Here's the problem, though. Like, I think we as a society are conditioned now that we have to have meat with every meal, right? It's meat. So the dilemma for you would be, right? Yeah, of course. Hey, you want people to eat as much meat as possible, right? But if I have to have meat every single day, maybe as a person in the community, I can't afford to buy it from Homestead. I'm going to City Market. So where is that line for you between, eat meat a lot because that's good for business, but actually the more meat you eat maybe necessarily isn't good for Homestead because would rather have more. Some people would rather have more of a lower quality and pay less.
Yeah, but you're going to find that in any business, whether you're selling cars or you're selling anything.
Right.
And the thing that we really try to stress is, one, that we are local. We do have full accountability and know where those animals have come from.
Right.
We know how they were taken care of. So in our marketing, it's a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a story.
But do you accept, though, that
I'm fine with it.
Some people are not going to buy from you?
My mom and dad.
Right.
But they're the same ones that are in Denver. They will tell me that clear across town is the cheapest gas.
Right.
And they will
They'll
drive
clear and spend the money.
Right. Yeah, that they would have bought. So, no, within any business, you have to find your niche.
Right.
And that's understandable.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, my mom and dad are not my perfect customer.
Right.
They don't mind when I show up and
Sure.
provide it, but it is a reality.
Yeah.
Is the restaurant, restaurants are something that I think we need to see a continued growth and opportunity here.
Yeah.
Is that a big part of your business? Is that a part of your business you'd like to see grow? Like,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we do have restaurants that we do sell to direct. We are also working with Clark's Market
Okay.
to provide beef to them now, and so, I guess mainly, whatever part of that business and that we can get our product into and
Yeah.
grow it, that is.
I will say that when I go to a restaurant and I see, you can see where the meat or the vegetables have come from, I get a sense of ease from that. It makes me feel more content, especially because eating out can be quite an expensive affair. And I understand that everyone has to make something, everyone along the chain has to make something. But
I would imagine that would be a marketing opportunity as well.
Correct.
Like, because I think it's one of those things where you get a cut of steak at a restaurant where somebody knows how to prepare it, and you eat it and you see where it came from, and then realize you can go get that on your own. People have the misconception that they can, cook it just as well, but I'll leave that up to you. It just seems like that is a marketing opportunity as well. Like, it's one of those things, see it, touch it, feel it, eat it.
I mean, I hope that as Montrose continues to grow and we get more and more restaurants, and there are more coming, that those people look to local and regional producers instead of, because I get a little, I don't want to, I feel conflicted sometimes when I see like the Cisco food trucks, and they're delivering stuff. I don't know what's in them. I'll say that, but I know that some of the things in those trucks are just generic products from anywhere. I understand the restaurant business is crazy, I would guess. I mean, I've been told that never go into that business because it's hard to make money. But I want to see more local restaurants where they can, using local and regional products. It makes me feel better just to know that the fruits, vegetables, meats on a menu are from the area. I mean, the whole farm to table movement was founded on that, and I think it's still going strong. Again, it's a quality over quantity thing. It's going to cost a bit more. That's just, there's no two ways about that, right?
Absolutely. I think I was just thinking the other side of that is the catch-22. If somebody prepares your meat bad, it's not your meat is bad, it was prepared poorly.
Right.
Or, it was handled poorly or whatever else.
I've always thought to myself, if I ever had a restaurant, I would love to actually ban people who come in and ask for well-done steaks. Kick them out. Because you know what? The customer's always right. No, they're not.
This is an example of when they're not right.
If you ask for a well-done steak, you're banned. Never come back.
Yeah.
Do that stuff at home.
How do you qualify that at Homestead? Do you go, all right, you're not allowed to cook this over this temperature.
You don't ask this. You don't want to.
You can do whatever you want to do with it, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when we do the custom side of stuff, my two gals that do the cutting instructions, I don't know how many times they've been on the phone with a customer. They'd be going through their cut sheet. Well, they get to like ribeyes or New Yorks, and on the other end, they'd be like, just grind them.
Oh no.
And the girls are like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah,
we're going to eat burgers more than we're going to eat anything else.
Like,
I make
most expensive burger.
The girls just take out and they're like, I can't believe they're, no, everybody has,
their way of doing it. Yeah, absolutely.
To each their own.
You're going to run into that.
Unless you're wrong.
Yeah.
So please don't grind that stuff. Don't overcook it.
All right. Are you a fat eater or no?
It's kind of funny. When I was younger, I was.
Yeah.
As I get older, I tend to go more towards
the leaner side of it.
But you still want it fed right.
Yeah.
So it has that marbling and that tenderness.
Yeah.
But no, just to eat the outside fat.
If it doesn't,
how do you have your steaks cooked? I mean, are we talking like blue, still mooing kind of?
No.
I do like them like that actually, but
really
medium rare at least.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't go well. No.
You were worried about the answer?
What about you?
I'm a medium rare. I like it rare, more towards the rare. Yeah. But the reason why I like the medium rare is because I like something with marbling and I like the grizzle. And so it's got to have a little bit of burn on the fat.
Grizzle.
Grizzle.
Yeah. No, gristle.
Yeah, grizzle.
Good Lord.
That's what I keep saying. I don't know what's your problem.
You're so tiring sometimes.
Okay.
My problem is
Yeah.
I've got burned enough time is when you order it more towards a rare and you don't say the word medium rare, then it is. It's
it's too rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
they barely wiped the butt.
Okay.
That's how I like it. But you can throw that back on for a second.
I'm going to piss everybody else off here in town. None of you know how to cook a medium rare steak in town. I get like all of you. I don't care who it is. All of you need to go back to chef school. Like medium rare is one of those things that should be a standard that people understand. Like if I'm coming to buy a steak from you, and now steaks are, let's just be honest, steaks are like $30, $40, $50.
We're not going down the road of talking about why the price of beef is going up. That's
right.
not.
Well, but I'm saying if I'm going to come out and you're going to cook it for me and I'm going to pay it, and I'm one of those people that does prefer to go out and let somebody else cook it for me, you got to do not let me order a medium rare and have it show up where there is not enough pink in the meat.
That's the cardinal sin.
Yeah.
Overcooking. Undercooking, you can say, I need 20 more
seconds.
Right.
Take it back.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Right.
But overcooking, there's nothing that can be done.
But nobody's here. We need some better training.
Just as a announcement to all of your people that watch your Homestead was not a part of that comment about all of them need to go back to training.
Okay. Homestead does not endorse Dennis's.
Do not endorse that.
Dennis's point of view.
Actually, when you're talking about restaurants, though, it is a collaborative affair. You can have the greatest meat on earth, and if it's charred to a crisp, it's no good.
It doesn't. Well,
again,
it's one of those things. To your point, it's a personal taste. Yeah. All right. You know what? This is a horrible part of this episode. Is Clear Networks was not.
Don't say that. You could just pretend like we were saving them for the end.
Oh, we saved the best for this moment right here. Clear Networks.
Always. They and I say it every time. They, for some reason, have
continued to sponsor.
They've seen some value in this.
Yeah.
And they continue to support us and allow this to happen. So we are very, very grateful to Doug and everyone over at Clear Networks for
very much so
facilitating this. And if you don't like what we're doing, it's their fault.
Don't. Yeah, call him. Tell him that.
Don't do that.
That'll go over well.
I don't want Doug to pull the.
If you don't have Clear Networks, you probably should.
Yeah.
We're.
I don't know what you're thinking if you don't have Clear Networks.
1 gigabit speed.
Yeah.
You can get 2 gigabit speed. What do you do with 2 gigabytes?
I don't know. Go on Facebook twice as fast.
I guess so. I guess that's it. Well, Gary, I appreciate you coming and sitting on the couch and talking to us. I'm glad that you made the distinction that you don't endorse my thoughts.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I endorse what you're thinking.
I don't think WKRP endorses my thoughts either.
Officially, no.
But we're excited that Homestead is here in the community. We're excited that you guys came in and want to have a presence here and created that opportunity as well.
I look forward to you eventually and hopefully finding a place in Montrose where people can access
where we can continue to come by the meat retail side. Yeah.
Just easier. And for the time being, well, Kinnikin is open through the end of the year. And even in the middle part, like Delta isn't far away. If you want to go to Homestead, it's if you can afford it and you want to treat yourself or whatever, you can go to Delta. It's not that far. Where is the Homestead retail store?
It's straight across from City Market there, next to Starvin' Arvin's, as you head towards Grand Junction.
Right on your way.
Yep, just past Maverick.
Yeah. And since you guys are going to be here, you said you're operating till the end or till the beginning of the new year, right? Yeah. What is some of the things that you think that people should come consider, especially for the holidays? Like, is there things that specifically you guys do that would be a great opportunity for people to take advantage of? And maybe if they're first time homesteaders, they should come and check this part out or this thing out.
Do you have turkeys?
We do turkeys. We also have orders that we will have placed for prime ribs, things like that. We will cut them bone in or boneless.
So you can pretty much do, almost everything that what somebody's going to want.
And it's already there. The only thing that I would say, since we do our own custom processing, if you have something unique that you would really like during that time,
get the order
go
in,
talk to our friendly staff in there, and just place the order, and we cut retail every Monday and Tuesday, and then it'll be right there for them.
Awesome. So if you listen, we said earlier, we live in one of the most beautiful places in the country. Invite your family out, even if you haven't talked to them in a while. Invite them out, have them out for Christmas, get a prime rib. Do it right. Do it right this
if
year.
you think
This is a
that-
good Christmas to do it right.
But if you think that some of your family might ruin Christmas or Thanksgiving, don't invite them.
And then
okay-
save the
that's-
prime rib for yourself.
That's okay too. That's fine.
I'm trying to bring people together, Rob.
And I'm saying just live in the real world, Dennis.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't ever do that. So that's not the case. All right. Well, we normally when we close up an episode, we ask somebody that's sitting there who they'd like to see next on the couch. Or
Give us that.
you can choose what you would like to see next in Montrose or Delta, I guess, as well. Something new.
You make
This
this
may
up
not
all
be
the
there.
time.
Yeah. What about it?
You're making it up.
I just did.
Who do you think would be good on the couch? Somebody in the community, the region that you think would can tell a good story, has a business that we need to know about.
Hmm.
And you don't, you can think about it and let us know later. But
Will do.
yeah,
Of course, being an ag type person,
Yeah.
the more people in the community that you can bring in that talk a different side of the element of
Yeah.
ag.
What is another side of the of agriculture out here that we may not know about?
Well, I mean, we talked about it. You have tons of just your little chicken
Uh-huh.
operation.
Yeah.
Providing
Not my chicken operation. I just buy the eggs.
No,
but yeah.
but you have a
Buy
producer
eggs.
there
Yeah.
that is doing that.
yeah,
You have, I mean, ag's still a huge part of Montrose and Delta County.
yeah.
And I don't think it'd be too hard to look and find those individuals to bring in. So
Let's do that.
I'll work on it.
We do kind of pride ourselves a little bit on being as diverse as we can. You're not the first person who works in ag to come on. We do want more people to come on and talk about it because I guess it's one of the best parts of Montrose and Western Colorado is that we have this combination of it's an agricultural place, but you can also, I mean, it's a mountain biking capital too. We have all of these things that come together, and there's a lot more I think that those seemingly diverse groups have in common than separate us. I think.
Well, and most of the people that move here, the reason they move here is the open space
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
beauty of it.
yeah, and it makes sense.
And those are the people that
yeah,
are keeping it.
You're a
that way.
big outdoors person. You're into national parks and public land. You probably enjoy eating better. You
Mhm.
probably, I mean, there's a lot of crossover between the various groups of people that maybe on the surface don't look as if they might have a huge amount in common,
Yeah.
like us do.
We don't have anything in common.
No, but I mean, people look at me, younger, handsome, whatever, and then
Right.
they look at you and they're like, "What the hell's he doing with that guy?"
Yeah, I know. How did he get on that? How did he get that guy as the other seat in the
As the button. Mark.
yeah, as the button monkey?
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary. Appreciate it. You coming and sharing the story with us. We didn't ask you, what is your favorite part about living out here on the Western Slope?
Well,
Besides the space and the activities
Yeah.
and everything else.
I think as I get a little older, and raising kids here,
Mhm.
it was that
Yeah.
of being able to raise my children here, especially in a community that I grew up in, and just having, I don't think I would have wanted to. There's so many other places I wouldn't have wanted to raise them.
Yeah.
Plus, I coached football forever in Hotchkiss and sports up there, and
Oh yeah.
so that sense of community that we
Yeah.
have.
Community. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we started this thing.
Mhm.
So it kind of fits quite nicely, I think.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. That's been another episode of WKRP Montrose. We'll see you soon.